Yeah, it's on now.
So, some news hot off the press. James is about to say a few words to you. Please come into the room. Don't hang about in the corridor. We'll charge you for it.
Right about.
He wants everything to be perfect.
Alright, Jackie's done his speech. Oh, bless him.
Come on, Jimmy.
So, James has brought his glasses. He's not nervous at all, but we will be doing some intro music. Come on, everybody in from the corridor. You don't want to miss it.
Oh my God! Listen to drum roll. He's going to be spinning now. Oh, go on, Bazzy!
Over to James.
I've drawn the short straw there. Right, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Evening.
Evening. Hope everybody's enjoying this special day. And for those of you who've just joined us, congratulations, because you managed to miss Bazzy's speech.
Hey.
Painful stuff. I'd like to introduce myself. My name's James Ward. I'm also known as Jimmy Dubs, Dubsy, Wardy. And some of you may know me by some other names I prefer not to acknowledge if that's all the same with you. I, alongside with Darius Buffetti. Darius? Hooray! And one of two best men today. You're probably wondering why there are two best men. It's quite straightforward, really. Baz wanted a best man, but unfortunately couldn't find one, so we've got two semi-okay ones instead. I'm very honoured that Baz asked me to do this job today, and in time-honoured best man tradition, I will now do my best to give Baz the most uncomfortable 5 minutes of his life. Which is exactly what he gives Claire every time he gives her a wink and tells her to get up the stairs. Keep it going. Keep it going. As I said, it's a great honour to be doing this today. Baz has been a great friend of mine for a number of years. But with the role of best man comes a speech and the speech writing. I obviously wanted to make it as easy as I could, so I started searching the internet. And after a few hours, I came across some really, really, really good stuff. But then I realised I was supposed to be looking for a best man speech. But in all fairness, I've been a bit nervous about doing this, as you can probably tell. But I'm a bit more comfortable by the fact I've actually rehearsed this speech in front of a live audience at a local restaurant in Blackpool. I think it went well, because they definitely pissed themselves anyway. Baz asked me a year or so back, so Jim, what do you think about marriage? I said to him, look Baz, I think you're an attractive guy and I'm flattered, but I don't think of you that way, so let's just keep it the way it is. As we all know, Baz is a bit of a quirky character, obsessed with fitness, either owing money to people or people owing him money, his competitive streak, getting up in the morning at daft o'clock. I've heard he can actually get by without any sleep at all, Claire, if that's true at the moment, yeah. But I think one of Bazzy's funniest personality defects is his preferred method of transportation after a night on the piss. Basically, he likes to run home. Regardless of where he is or getting a taxi, he prefers to run home. So basically, I'll run 8 miles wearing trousers and shoes. Like on the stag do, whoever's on the stag do. Running back to his hotel along the hard shoulder of a motorway. I think we've all got good Bazzy Beach stories in our locker, which I'm sure we can share at the bar later. But I think one of my personal favourites is the one of him running home after a night out, in trousers and shoes, as per usual, and then finding that he'd locked himself out. So obviously someone of sound mind would maybe get a hotel, or phone a friend, or maybe even break a window and get in. He'd basically been working on the house recently, so he spotted an old carpet on the side of the house. So he rolled himself up in that, still wearing his trousers and shoes, and slept in the front garden. So I don't know if you can imagine walking past him in the morning, getting your paper or whatever. Me and Baz have been on plenty of holidays together, with all the boys as well. Ayia Cancun, or the Cooey. And we also did an American road trip from Denver, from Sam and Jose's house, to Vegas and then back again, but a different way, in 2005. There's quite a few things that happened on that trip. Baz nearly killed us by driving straight over a giveaway and a dual carriageway onto oncoming traffic, if you remember that, Baz. and I got us stopped in the Nevada desert for speeding. We were driving along and we get pulled over. So me and Baz are both twitching, so the policeman comes up to the car and says, "Can I see your licence, please?" So I gave it to him. Then he says, "Mr. Ward, it says here you should be wearing glasses." So I said, yeah, I've got contacts. He said, "I don't care who you know, you get a ticket."
Every time. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
So I asked Baz a few months ago where him and Claire got on the honeymoon. He said, "The road trip, we went on Jimmy Dubs." Which I'm sure Claire probably felt wasn't the most romantic honeymoon she'd ever heard of. But then I asked him a few weeks ago if he was looking forward to it. I was a bit confused because it sounded like he changed his plans and was going to Wales. He just said he was going to bang her for 2 weeks. At this point, I'd like to read out a few messages. Now, obviously, in years gone by, people would send telegrams, that kind of thing. But with the modern age of technology upon us, I set up a group on Facebook where people can leave messages of congratulations, that kind of thing. So if it's okay with everyone, I'd like to read a few out. "We're sorry we couldn't make your special day, but felt it too emotional losing a special guy like yourself. You're such a fun guy, we'll miss having you around. That's from all the girls at the Fantasy Bar in Manchester." "Best of luck to Baz and Claire. I'm so sorry I can't be there today. But also, Baz, can I please have those shirts back that you borrowed? That one's from Elton John." "Congratulations on your big day. We are thrilled for you both. Also, Baz, we also wanted to make you aware that your first order has just been dispatched. That's from everyone at Give Me a Pleasure Inflatable Sex Dolls." Okay, on a slightly more serious note, I'd like to say that in all the time that I've known Baz, which is about 15 years, he's always been the most genuine and honest friend that I've ever had. I think in life that we come across people, acquaintances, maybe people that we go out on the lash with that we call friends, but in reality they're not really. In Baz, I can genuinely say that I've got someone I've always been and always will be very, very proud to call my name. And I also know that he's been there for me 100%, just as I am for him. I'd also personally like to say that I'm absolutely delighted that he's found a partner in Claire that loves him for who he is and won't change him. Because I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everyone who knows him that we'd never want Baz to change. Right, I think we've only got a couple of minutes before Baz does his dance. So in fairness, I'm probably going to need that for the applause that I'm going to get. So please join me up standing, and if we can propose a toast, please, to the newlyweds, ladies and gentlemen, to Baz and Claire.
Didn't he do well?
Well done. You're going to have a hard job following that, I'll tell you.
Who's crying?
Has anybody got a hanky? So I think...
Right, give each other a little kiss, go on.
Don't
Oh, was you whingy, was you, babe? Oh, come on. Oh. All right. It's all on video. Okay.
So we're going to do the cake.